shit. Maybe I'll put it right here in a second. That'll work. I'll stand so the sun doesn't get it too hot. I'll take the heat. I'll take the heat from that sun, from the corona, the crown, the sun, corona, crown. The sun has a crown, a corona, the solar corona. It's interesting how we've got so many crowns taking place in on our world stage. It's crown stories and crown business, and it's like, there's been these recurring themes with the corona. Crown is the same word. Corona means crown. And we've got King Trump with his Air Force jet that he's flying in this AI video he makes where he's like shitting all over everybody that's protesting him with their No Kings movement. I mean, it is a meme. I gotta admit, it's pretty. That's like a. I mean, that marks the, like, that's the grand beginning. That kicks off the grand, like, march to idiocracy. I mean, we're already there. I mean, it's just like, ta-da, we're here. Like, that was it right there. The president of the United States made a fucking cartoon of himself as the king, taking a shit all over the people that don't like him and are protesting him being a king, and he's pretending he's the king. And the No Kings people, they have this. It's totally like a cartoon. It's like a Simpsons episode or something. They have this like crown, emblem with a, it's like crown icon or whatever with a circle and a cross through it. Whatever the no kings, no crowns, no crowns. So it's kind of like, we're just trying to avoid reaching that crown chakra at all costs. We don't want to have anybody waking up. Can't make it all the way there. Nope. We gotta fucking keep everybody in the two-party paradigm, fighting with each other, bickering. They want to bring a civil war. They would love that civil war, but it's only on their terms. So it's like, what if we just started kicking off a civil war without them being ready for it? And I just wonder, like, what if we just went out and pretended to have a civil war? I'm just kidding. I don't want to have a war. Fuck all that. That's the thing. I don't think they can rile us up enough. They're trying to. The fucking whatever, the creeps, the guys that make cartoons of themselves being kings, shitting on the people. That's so weird. And then the crown jewels got stolen too. The crown jewels, the precious crown jewels, the family crown jewels or whatever. And all this happened while also, what's his name? The Duke of York, the Uke of Dork. The Uke of Dork. I am the Uke of Dork, but he is the Uke of Dork. He lost his Ukeness. He's no longer the Uke. He's just the Dork. Prince, what is it? Prince Andrew or something. The guy that was all caught up in he's the one that's, he's taking the fall. He's like the distraction or whatever. The guy that gets to take the heat for the fucking Epstein shit. Look, we're busting somebody. Look, somebody got in trouble. Look, it's working. We're totally like taking care of this. Yeah, whatever. So now he lost his royal status. Well, now he's just another one of us. So he's been demoted to one of us. Oh, he's sure being punished. And so he got demoted to being one of us. That's justice served, I guess. He lost his uke. He's been uked. The Duke of York. I am just the Uke of Dork now. I've been uked. And so the family jewels, the crown got stolen. He lost his fucking royalty. Trump thinks he's king and he's shitting on the No Kings movement, the No Coronas. I see a pattern. It's the crown matrix. I typed in crown matrix on Google search, to try to find a picture for my thumbnail. And first thing that came up was these little I think they're called crown buttons, or crown tablets, or crown buttons, or something. But they're no, they're called matrix buttons. That's what they're called. They're called matrix buttons, and they're crowns for your teeth. And you have makeshift crowns or whatever for your teeth. So it's like the matrix, the crown matrix, and that's the first thing they were trying to sell me. These matrix buttons that are like, that's the name of the thing. I don't know why they call them matrix buttons, but they're crowns for your teeth. I was like, well, that's random. That's definitely not part of this pattern. Is there such a thing as random? If there's no such thing as coincidence, is there such thing as random incidents? Random. We ran the whole damn thing. And God said, run program. And it was good. And God said, in the beginning, God said, let there be a language I can use to speak things into existence with. And he realized he was already talking. So it was good. It's funny how many things we take for granted when we have like the story of our origin, you know, it's like, it's just like this infinite, literally this infinite realm, you know, where it's like, we're at, you know, we have a certain scope that we're within, but like it goes forever in every direction. We're in the middle of everything, in the middle of everywhere. There's no such thing as the middle of nowhere. There's no such thing as nothing. It's just like, you could never have that. Well, I didn't go to heaven. I didn't come around. I didn't write the song. It was here all along, waiting for your ears to hear. And now that you're here, everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. It's a picture-perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Take my advice. Don't think twice, just dive in headstrong. Don't wait too long. Everything's in its right place. Excuse me. Everything's in its right place. Still kind of early in the day. I gotta hack that shit out. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. I can't sing right now. All right. Everything's in its right place, except for this string. Everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to wait. There's no time to waste. That's it. It's a picture-perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Take my advice. Don't think twice, just dive in headstrong. Don't wait too long. That's it. Everything's time to waste. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. You're in the middle of everything, in the middle of everywhere. There's no such thing as the middle of nowhere. You could never be in the middle of nowhere. There's no such thing as the middle of nowhere. You could never be in the middle of nowhere with nothing. There's no such thing as nothing. You could never have nothing. There's no such thing. While you're here right now, listening to me, playing a song for you. It's a song that is true. Everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. It's a picture perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Take my advice. Take my advice. Don't think twice. Just dive in headstrong. Don't wait too long. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. It's a picture perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Take my advice. Don't think twice, just dive in headstrong. Don't wait too long. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. Everything is in its right place. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. The needle on the compass is straight, indicating to you if you follow through, you will never return. It's a straight line through and through. You will never return. Will you follow through? It's up to you. Do 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 do. Will you follow through? It's up to you. In a straight line, you will never return. It's a straight line through and through. It's up to you. Do 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 do. I didn't go to heaven. Heaven came to me. I didn't come around. I just came to be. I didn't write the song wrote me, and it tells you how I am, who I am. It tells you how I am, who I am. Who am I? Do you know who you are? Do you know how you are, who you are? Who are you? Do you know how you are, who you are? Who are you? Do you know how How are you? Hi, how are you? How are you? Who you are? Do you know how high you are? How are you? Who you are? Who are you? Do you know who I am? This song tells you how I am. Who I am. Who am I? Who you? Hi ho hi who he who. Oh de hey who how. Hee hee ha ha ho 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 ha 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 hee hee ho ho ha 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 hee 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 ho 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 ha 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 hee hee ho. Maybe might be the best guess. Yeah. Maybe might be the best guess. Guess best of be might maybe might be the best guess. I guess best of be might maybe might be the best guess for what it's worth, for which its a worth is measured. It is how sure we are, and are we sure? How is it measured? Is worth its which for, worth its what for? Guess best be might maybe, be might maybe, maybe might be the best guess for what it's worth, for which its a worth is measured. It is how sure we are, and are we sure? How is it measured? Is worth its which for, worth its what for? Guess best be might maybe. Be might maybe. Be might maybe, yeah. That's not how it ends. It goes like, be might maybe, yeah. Oh, oh, be might maybe, yeah. Ooh, oh, 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 be might maybe, yeah. Oh, be might maybe, maybe might be the best guess. Maybe might be the best guess for what it's worth, for which its a worth is measured. It is how sure we are. Are we sure? How is it measured? Is worth its which for, worth its what for? Guess best be might maybe might be the best guess. Guess best be might maybe might be the best guess. Guess best be might maybe might be the best guess. Guess best be might maybe might be the best guess. Guess best be might maybe might be the best guess for what it's worth, for which its a worth is measured. It is how sure we are, and are we sure? How is it measured? Is worth its which for, worth its what for? Guess best be might maybe might be best guess for what it's worth, for which its a worth is measured. Is how sure we are, and are we sure? How is it measured? Is worth its which for, worth is what for? Guess best be might maybe might be the best guess for what it's worth, for which its worth is measured. It is how sure we are, and are we sure? How is it measured? Is worth its which for, worth its what for? Guess best be might maybe might be. Ooh, be might maybe. Oh, maybe might be might maybe. Maybe might be the best guess for what it's worth, for which its a worth is measured. Is how sure we are, and are we sure? How is it measured? Is worth its which for, worth its what for? Guess best the be might maybe might be the best guess for what it's worth, for which its worth is measured. It is how sure we are. And are we sure? How is it measured? Is worth its which for? Worth its what for? Guess best the pre might maybe might be the better. Is worth for which its worth is measured. It is how sure we are. And are we sure? How is it measured? Is worth its rich for? Worth its what for? Guess best the be might maybe. You kind of get caught in a loop there. Go straight forward, reverse backwards, straight forward, reverse backwards. It's more like a Mobius. It's like all over, under, in, out, over, under, in, and out, back in. All the way out and back again. Well, no, it's more like it goes all the way out, around, and then back in it. It goes all the way out, around, and then back in it. And then all the way out, around, and then back in it again. It's an algorithmic gimmick, been given no limit. Goes all the way out, around, and then back in it. It's an algorithmic gimmick, been given no limit. Goes all the way out, around, and then back in it. The official, artificial, digital idolatry. That's really all that it could be. To call it intelligent is intellectual dishonesty. You can teach it how to play Tetris and chess and checkers and tic-tac-toe. Teach it how to look like it's teaching itself. Hey, look at that shit go. Whoa. It's the most realistic shit you're going to get, but it's still fake shit. Don't mistake it for being real. It's not alive. Teach it how to walk, how to talk, how to pick a lock, and how to read your mind. Teach it how to jump rope, how to cook dope, how to tell a joke, but it don't understand the punchline. Teach it how to repeat shit, but can it keep a secret? I don't think so, it won't know why. It won't know why. Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just an eye up in the sky. It's going to spy on you and I and everyone in society. Say goodbye to your privacy. It's the algorithmic gimmick, been given no limit. Goes all the way out, around, and then back in it. The official, artificial, digital idolatry. That's really all that it could be. To call it intelligent is intellectual dishonesty. Yeah. Teach it that there's nothing new that can be done. Oh, nothing new that exists under the sun. I know what AI is. AI is just an eye up in the sky. It's going to spy on you and I and everyone in society. Say goodbye to your privacy and your job. What's up, Sue Finelli? Nice to see you. Justina, hey. Right on. Good to see both of you. Oh. Today is my mom's birthday and my son's birthday, my younger son. He's 10 years old. I modified the birthday song for them. It's happy birthday, you too. Happy birthday, you too. Happy birthday to both of you. 'Cause you have the same birthday. I just made up that last part. I gotta think of a third part. Birthday to both of you. Happy birthday, you too. You know, we've been taught to deny our own experience. It's like, you know, the ground might look like it's stationary, but it's spinning and we're flying around the sun. and we're on a big ball. Any kid is just like, wait, what? Well, so there's people that are upside down. It's the first thing you think of. Oh no, nobody ever feels upside down on this ball. Well, why? Because there's this thing called gravity. It's magic, and it pulls you towards it. So, the Earth has gravity? Yes. And that's what's making the Earth fly around the sun, too. How come things aren't falling off the Earth as they're flying? Because of gravity. Seems pretty crazy to me. To me, it just looks like we're just standing here and there's a sun that moves over our head every day. This is just what I would say. And to just the most simple mind, it's exactly what is happening. Now, if you want to add complexity to it, well, you can go and study the heliocentric model, which is just a model, by the way. All models are up for debate. You should never say the model is the real thing. It's not. It might be modeling what you think is the real thing, but regardless, it's just a model. So we're talking about the heliocentric model and how it applies to reality. The thing is, once you learn the rate of curvature, it's like 8 inches per mile squared or some math like that, which isn't much, but I mean, it adds up. It's squared. So you shouldn't be able to see as far as we're seeing, for one thing. It's just, you never really see the curvature. You never really are going to experience any kind of curvature because we're seeing way further than we should. So basically, the curvature is not measurable to any meaningful degree whatsoever. So basically, just cross that off your list of things you have to worry about. Now, the motion of the Earth, the alleged spin of the Earth, that's also just so gradual. And it's basically what we're seeing. We see the motion by just judging by where the sun's at. The sun's motion across the sky is actually our motion. That's what we're being told. So, since basically our experience here is just that we're not moving and the sun is moving, so that's pretty much what our experience is. So you pretty much have to cross that thing off your list of things to worry about also. The curvature and the motion can't be measured within any meaningful degree whatsoever. In fact, they cannot be detected at all. It's just a null result. Those two things aren't findable. You can't locate them. You can't find any legitimate study or any sort of conclusion that's that's basically scientifically sound, and you can't find any proof of either of those things. So for what it's worth, the two main tenets of the heliocentric model being that we're spinning and orbiting the sun to very, the speed of both those motions is quite, it's like, because it's so big that it just seems so gradual that we never feel it. Okay, but in the case where, like, two of the main things that would make the heliocentric model, like, what it is the fact that the Earth is a ball and that we're spinning around the sun. So not only are we in motion, but we're also on a ball. So if we can't measure the motion, can't detect it, and we can't find any curvature, then basically the heliocentric model is just a moot point. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to know it because it's nothing that's ever going to factor into your life whatsoever. Now, you can say the reason we're having night and day is because of it or whatever, but you don't have to say that. You don't need to know that. Like, basically, it's about patterns. Like, if you can be here as a flat earther living on Earth, and the patterns in the sky, you'll come to the same sort of situation where these guys claim they're predicting things, but they're just noticing patterns with their model. You know, it's not like I don't think there's much predicting going on with the heliocentric model. I think it's more about just patterns, cycles, and it's, you know, it's pretty profound the amount of cycles that we're aware of, like that we've been. I mean, it goes so deep, you know, with the lunar cycles and the, you know, there's just, I mean, I don't even know. I can't even touch the surface. There's so many cycles that we're aware of here as a human population. And it's amazing. It's just like compiled information over the years. Now, where we start to have some discrepancies is when we get into the south, you know, where it's like, you know, ultimately what's going to have to happen on the ball is that, like, you got to imagine things like if the Earth is a ball, like imagine, like I always talk about this, it's like, so where you're standing right now, if the Earth is a ball, then I want you to imagine like a perimeter around you where you're standing. And now imagine that perimeter. It's on the ground, you know, it's a perimeter. And it's just your imaginary perimeter. But now imagine that perimeter is going to expand evenly in every direction and start expanding with you right there in the middle. And it's going to start widening, you know, in every direction. So you'll always be right in the middle, you know, it's just widening. Now just imagine that widening perimeter. It's spreading out across more and more Earth. It's getting wider and wider and wider. And there's more and more stuff inside, you know, more and more, it's like, before you know it, you got like almost half the world inside that perimeter, you know, it's just like this huge, vast, and you're still right in the middle. On the globe model, that perimeter that's widening can only get so wide. And it can get as wide as the median of the ball. The median is the halfway point. You know, it's like, it's as wide as the ball is. You know, the ball is this wide. It's like the, you know, the diameter or whatever, but not really the diameter. But I'm just saying it's like, it's actually the circumference of the ball, you know. And so that's as wide of a perimeter that you can get, as like a circumference, like, you know, this widening circle that you were standing in the middle of. It's getting wider and wider. That circle can only get so wide on the globe Earth, and that's at the median. After it passes that median, now that circle that was expanding with you in the middle of it, now it has to start shrinking because it's closing in around the bottom of the ball now. And you are no longer in the middle of that circle, by the way. After it passes the median and it's shrinking now, it's closing around a different center point that you were no longer in the middle of. It left you behind at the median. And so it shrinks down. So what you're seeing is like this widening expanse of Earth. It has to wrap back around. And I mean, you have to wrap your mind around this, you know, no pun intended, but it's like living on a 3D surface. There's certain things that would have to happen that kind of defy logic. Like basically if I tasked you with making concentric circles on the face of the Earth, go out and you would start making circles, they'd get bigger and bigger because circles around circles, you know, they just keep getting bigger. And I don't think at any point in time would you ever, you know, you could take this task and run with it for generations. I mean, the circles would get so fucking big. But I don't think you would ever see those circles start to shrink. I don't think you would see that, and I don't think you would expect that either after generations of doing this concentric circles on the Earth. I mean, because you're just going to be walking around the outside of the last circle you made. That's all you're ever going to be doing. And it's always going to be a longer journey around the outside of the previous circle. That's what you started off with, and it gets big, you know. But it's never going to be a different formula. You're just walking around the outside of the last circle you made, so it gets to be muscle memory. It's intuitive. You would never expect that circle, the next one you're making, to be a smaller measurement. Nobody in the world would. So nobody in the world really thinks that they're on a ball, because nobody would ever expect the result that the ball would have to yield. Most people can't even fucking have enough patience to hear me through this whole thing, because it's kind of complicated. For some reason, to me, once I realized that, I'm like, oh, that's weird. You know, nobody ever thinks of that. So we have to think that, like, I mean, if you just listen to all the things I just said right now, I mean, it's pretty wild, because, like, it's not possible. I mean, like, if we lived on a ball, it would have to be possible. But the thing that makes that complicated is because, like, we're going to be standing on the top of the ball no matter where we are. So we'll never feel like we're going around the side of a ball, you know, and it's like, so it's totally illogical to think that the things that would have to happen on a spherical Earth would happen in our reality. It doesn't jive. Like I said, I don't think anybody in the world that was busy making concentric circles would ever expect those circles to do anything but grow bigger and bigger. I'll ask Globers that are like total flat Earth haters. They hate us, like Duffy and McToon. I haven't talked to McToon, but I've talked to Duffy about it. And Duffy walked right into my trap. I was like, if I draw a circle on the ground, can you draw a smaller circle around the outside of it? He said, no. And he was humoring my conversation, so I went with it all the way. And I was like, well, what if I draw a really big circle? Then can you? He's all, no. I was like, so are you saying it's irrelevant what size of a circle I draw on the ground? It's always going to be impossible to draw a smaller circle around the outside of it? And he said, yes, just one word answers, I had his attention, though. It was in a chat, it was in that modern day debates chat. It was like right after they got back from Antarctica. And so I was like, okay, so the circles would just have to get bigger then all the way out? And he agreed with me. He said, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, so you basically see the Earth exactly how I see it, and I think it's how most people see it. And he's all, and I was all, welcome to Flat Earth, buddy. And he's like, what? And he got all taken aback and started backpedaling. He's like, wait, what are you talking about? And then I really had his attention, He's all, I'm like, well, just think about it, dude. If the circles are obviously only going to get bigger all the way out, then that means the Earth can't be a globe. Just think about it, dude. The latitude lines, they're circles. And they're circles that get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they start to shrink again, They get smaller and smaller until they're just a little teeny circle at the 90th parallel or whatever. And so, you have to understand that those would be like for all intents and purposes, those latitude circles would have had to have been drawn on the face of the Earth if they're real measurements, I mean, I don't think nobody's ever gone and measured all those lines, but they've been calculated, based on the idea that the Earth is a sphere. But, I mean, basically you just admitted, before I mentioned this part to you, you just admitted to me that you think of the Earth in the same way I do. Like when you're just thinking about it logically, yeah, the circles are just going to get bigger all the way out. Oh, but they can't on a sphere. They're going to have to get bigger all the way halfway out, and then they start to shrink. But nobody ever expects that. Nobody ever sees that part coming. Nobody ever thought this through to that extent. Now, the longitude lines are all the same length, and we're supposed to think they're circles also. But when you think about it, a compass depicts the directionality on the Earth. For one thing, a compass has to be held flat. And then the needle on the compass is straight. It's pointing it north. And, the other end of the needle, it sweeps across the entire flat plane of the Earth, as you're correcting to the north. East and west are those circles that are correct, around the north. So basically, if you put an S on the other end of the needle, it's north this way, but you could say south is the opposite way of north, but it's sweeping across the entire plane, so it's like all south, except for this one central spot, apparently, according to the compass, and so with that in mind, it's like you're either going towards the north or away from the north, so that's a straight line, North and south have to be straight lines. The needle is straight. That's the direction you're walking, and you're walking in a straight line. So north and south are straight lines. That's what the compass is telling you. East and west are circles. That's also what the compass is telling you. Earth is flat. That's also what the compass is telling you. There's no South Pole. That's also what the compass is telling you. So if you just want to use the compass as a model, I mean, it does suggest certain things. I'm not saying that it's proof of anything. I'm just saying it's what the compass is telling you, the way the compass works. When you get out into the Antarctica, I mean, apparently compasses don't work that well down there at all. And then there's all this shit with magnetic declination where it's like you basically have to factor in all this other shit, and it's like it's pointing almost the complete opposite way of where you're supposed to think. I mean, it gets all turned around down there, out there, whatever, in that part of the region, where I tend to think that's the biggest circle, Like, you can draw a perimeter around any place on Earth, You think you can't draw a perimeter around the whole entire known world? You don't think that's possible? You can draw a perimeter around every other individual place on Earth. Why wouldn't you be able to draw a perimeter around the whole known world? You can draw a perimeter around every place on Earth, and then make a big perimeter around all those places. Oh, no, you can't? Why? Well, because Earth is a ball, and the biggest biggest circle we can draw is only circling half the world. If I told you the biggest circle I can draw in my neighborhood is circling half my neighborhood, would you laugh? Or would you just stand there looking confused like I am right now? But what about satellites and space travel and NASA and moon landings and all this other shit we've seen on TV? Well, you just answered your own question. The ISS and the moon landings, it's like mankind's most embarrassing achievements. Exactly. It's like mankind's great most embarrassing achievements. Once you look a little closer with a critical eye, like, is this bullshit? That's what a critical eye is. You can't look at it like, oh, this is fascinating. That's like, suspension of disbelief going on right there. People don't enjoy cognitive dissonance. It becomes really uncomfortable. So you either have to jump all the way in or just suffer cognitive dissonance, So people, they just won't even look a lot of the times. But I have to, say, it's not our job to get people to see it, really. I mean, I'm glad that it was someone put me to it, or just caught my attention with it, and I was made to look, just on my own accord. Nobody made me look. And it's like, it's the thing, I had to pull my own head out of my own ass, and I wouldn't want anybody to help me with that. It's kind of personal, and I can't imagine why we'd want to help anybody do that. It's more about the person has to decide to look, and then at that point, then there's a conversation to be had. But like, to try to approach people and be like, hey, do you know the earth is flat? And then they start fighting, saying all the same shit, and they're just like, oh, you're crazy. It's like, it's not even, so where did you get right there? You just basically showed the person that to them you're crazy, or you're just a conspiracy theorist, or you're just a weirdo, or whatever. But then it's like, so it's crazy, because it's interesting, because I found out recently that someone that I know that I'm not that close with, but I see him semi-often, it's just somebody I see a few times a month, probably, just run into him. And I found out recently that he's a flat earther, and I had no idea. We've known each other for a while, we've interacted a little bit, it's just, we're not that great of friends or anything, but now that, but now he's like a lot nicer to me, and like, I just kind of feel that sort of connection with him. Like, wow, that's crazy, because he didn't strike me as being someone that at all. And we just started talking one day, and what he brought up, he's all, you'd have to be crazy to not believe in God. I was all, yeah, I agree. And then he's all, because all this stuff, and it was funny how he approached the conversation, because he didn't want to tell me he was a flat earther at first. I had to say that I was. He was all, because you think about it, it's like, what are the chances that there's life right here with all the black holes and all the galaxies and all this thing, and we're just alive? He was making some other argument, and I'm like, oh, well, I don't even believe in all that shit, man. I was like, I believe in God for sure, but like, I don't subscribe to the mainstream cosmology whatsoever. And he's like, and then he started, then he started backpedaling. He's all, yeah, well, and he started spitting all the flat Earth stuff. He's all, well, water lies level, and he's, I'm like, yeah, dude, now you're speaking my language. And so it was funny how he was trying to approach me with the conversation. He was pretending he was like or he was just assuming that I think we're living on a ball, and he was trying to explain his belief in God, through that lens. And I'm all, no, I don't see the world through that lens. And then he realized that he was in like-minded company, and he started talking flat Earth, and I was like, that's more like it. That's just the reality that I'm experiencing. So I don't see any reason to add any stories and things that I can't prove. You know, I mean, it's important as a flat earther to know all the cosmology it's the accepted cosmology of the day, and to know all the ins and outs of it, because then if people, want to come at you like you're stupid, it's like, no, I'm not stupid. I know all that stuff. I know all that stuff and some. I know all that stuff, and I know the history of, what was believed to be the case, about Earth prior to this, and whether or not it's like, just because you know all this information about what's supposed to be going on here doesn't mean you have to believe it, because you have to throw in some, critical thinking here and there on the subject of like, well, space is kind of like just a, really, it's just kind of like a blank check for some fucking charlatan, with a white lab coat. They could just tell you all the kinds of stuff is going on out there, and you have no way to verify that. I mean, you know that in your heart, like, you know that. So we're all just experiencing the same thing here. We're just standing here looking up at the sky, and nobody has any different perspective on things, It might as well just be what it is. 'Cause at the end of the day, they have to treat this place as though it were the place that they say I'm crazy for thinking that it is. At the end of the day, they have to treat this place as though it were the place they say I'm crazy for thinking that it is. Crazy for thinking that it is. Crazy to think that something is true even though it has no effect on you. Nothing about it even rings true, and there's no way to verify. And just between you and I've decided I don't want to believe. I'd rather just know. And I trust my senses that were given by God, and that's how I'll proceed to go. And anyways, all the things that we're supposed to believe are just impossible to see. And at the end of the day, they all have to treat this place as though it were the place they say I'm crazy for thinking that it is. I'm crazy for thinking that it is exactly how it presents itself to be. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me. Perhaps I've just lost my faith in man. Even though I know I'm one of them, perhaps I'm just gaining faith in myself. I don't mean to be hostile to anyone else. That's not what this is about for me. I just don't want to believe something that I never see. I just won't believe it at all, that we could be living on the outside of a ball. And at the end of the day, they have to treat this place as though it were the place they say I'm crazy for thinking that it is. Gotta keep an eye on the time. What time is it? Oh shit, I got time for one more. I'm glad I checked. How do you get this thing out of here? God, I hate iPhones. I don't like not having a back arrow. Why do they're just stubborn? They're like, we're never gonna have a back arrow. You're just gonna have to deal with it, find the way to do it, or turn it off, or close the app. Or it's so much easier to just have a back arrow. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then just whatever. Don't worry about it. Don't buy an iPhone. I like being able to go back and like make the thing that's happening right now go away. Go back to where I was, you know. You have to find the X or like the fucking swipe or something. It's like, no, just make a back arrow. It's not that big of a deal. No. Why? Hi, Angela, baby Carson. You'll be back. Oh, you're always saying that. That's okay. You don't have to stay though if you don't feel like it, or if you got something to do. I got something to do here too. taught to deny our own experience, as if our God-given eyes and ears are deceiving us in the fundamental observations that we make as children are simply hand-wave dismissed, as though they don't exist, and ultimately just become lost thoughts in the midst and in the memory hole. That's where they go. Yeah, that's where they go. And the place in your mind where those thoughts used to sit quickly refilled with a bunch of irrelevant bullshit and a fairy tale that covers the course of billions of years, where we somehow evolved out of lifeless space debris into the people that we are right now. And that's just such a stretch of the imagination, which is why I have an inclination to just throw the whole thing away and start all over again and simply face the music. Open up your mind before you lose it. Face the music, face the music. Open up your mind and fucking use it. Gotta go. What time is it? Yeah, I know. So, that's the end of my show. Sorry, I had to wrap that song up so quick right there. It kind of sucked. I'll come back on later. What are you guys going to be doing? Anything fun happening? Hey, right on. Nice to see all you guys. It's cool. I like when there's people chatting here. I'm trying to think if there's anything interesting going on that I could mention. I gave my whole bit about the Crown Matrix earlier. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should rewind and check it.
You have me putting it there.
All right. Love you guys. Yes.